And as just about every state now in the U.S. has reopened to some extent, a majority of Americans are sending a very clear signal to government officials. Take your time. That is the finding of a new AP NORC poll, which says the vast majority of Americans fear lifting restrictions will lead to more infections. And even a majority of Republicans say keeping some restrictions in place are appropriate. Our editor-in-chief, Andy Serwer, is with us now for this. Andy, I have to say, I wasn't too surprised to hear these findings. What about you?
Well, it really depends on how you look at it, Alexis. I think a lot of people see the demonstrations, for instance, at the Michigan State House, where, hundreds of people showed up, very vocal. Some of them had firearms. People are concerned. They want, to take back America, open up America. And you can extrapolate and say, well, geez, it must be like, over 50% of people in Michigan want to open up the state. Well, no, that's not the case. I mean, you're talking about literally hundreds of people in a state with a lot more than that. So I think people have to be very careful about a vocal minority representing anything more than that. And this new poll from the AP that you're talking about here, it suggests that 70% of Republicans are concerned about reopening America leading to new infections. And so, there you have it.
Andy, too, it's just not even, the reopenings are a major issue, of course, but I think what's getting lost a little bit is like reopenings are looking different. It's not like businesses are returning back to normal and everything is, look at restaurants, a lot of social distancing going on there, pretty much retailers, curbside delivery only. The landscape has changed dramatically.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point, Brian. A lot of people think that it's a binary kind of decision, that you're either at home and you can't go out at all, or we're back to a free-for-all that we Americans love so much. You want to go to the Yankees game. I know Alexis wants to do that so desperately with her kids, for instance. But
you know my household. Yeah, that is true.
That's right. But that kind of thing is not going to happen for a while. And so it's very nuanced. It's going to take steps, and it's going to happen differently in different areas. We're going to see restaurants with social distancing, offices with social distancing. If you're in a situation where you're at a farmer's market, like I've been over the weekend, people are spreading out. There are going to be different ways of paying for cash, paying for, things as well. So expect things to be a little different and to change and to vary very greatly in terms of where you are.
Well, do you think then, Andy, that the Trump administration is a little out of touch with what Americans are feeling and going through right now, because President Trump continues to push for a big reopening? And we know that he has always sort of talked about the economy and taken the credit for a good economy and a good stock market, even when he was on the campaign trail. So is this more about politics reopening the economy, you think, for President Trump?
Oh, for sure. There's a couple things going on with Donald Trump, if I can put him on the couch for a second, Alexis, right? Number one, first of all, he is a master of rhetoric. So in other words, if he's hoping to get a 75, he's going to be asking for 100, right? And so I think even he knows that, number one. Number two, he desperately wants, like any president perhaps, to get reelected. Fair enough. So he wants to make sure that the economy is going full bore. Possibly at the expense of more people getting sick. Yes, that's a calculus that he seems to be willing to take, and maybe other people are as well. And then I think it also, the third point is that it really helps to energize his base. Those people I was talking about at the State House in Michigan and their brethren all across the country get energized by this, and there's a conspiracy, and we need to take back America. And you can see where that's going. So all that plays into, yes, November and the big election coming up.
All right. We've been talking about it a lot here and on the Electionomics podcast with Rick Newman, that a lot of polls are now pointing to Americans being dissatisfied with the way President Trump has handled this pandemic and how the coronavirus may actually be the thorn in his side for re-election. Andy Serwer, thanks as always. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Hey investors, Zach Guzman here. Are you interested in learning more about the markets and getting the latest financial news? Well, then click right here to subscribe to our Yahoo Finance YouTube channel. Get the latest up-to-the-minute market analysis, big interviews in the world of finance, and information on how to manage your money every day wherever you are.